Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video. So I've been having some fun with the Arduino, and in this video I'd like to just, show off some of its capabilities and its software. I mean, the software, it's not great, but it works. So I've been able to program somewhat of a decent program in ladder logic, and I'd like to show you that program in this video, and then also at the same time maybe write a bit of SCL or structured text if we can. So essentially I've got a function generator here. We're going into one of the 8 inputs on the Arduino, but it's generating a 100 hertz sine wave, which you can see on the software I'll show you later, which is just incredible. That to me, I've just got dual purpose IO pins there that will do analog and digital. That's just crazy to me. So that input here, that's taking in an analog input sine wave, and then I've also got a normally open switch here that if I press, it turns on that LED there and also runs this little motor that I've got. And I've been able to program this user button as well. So you've got the user button on the front here. Let's give you a better look. So if I press this user button there, it turns on the blue LED, then it turns on, I believe, a green LED, and then an orange one. So it's pretty cool that that is programmable. I love that. So I've just got it. So this is a blue LED, and then this is either a green or red LED, and I think the red takes precedent. So if I hold it again, turns on blue, and then I think green, and then red. So that, to me, that's a nice status indicator that I can say, if the program's running healthy, stick that as green if there's no faults. If there's a fault, stick that as red. And you can even have that as a controls or fault reset on the Arduino. Yeah, it's brilliant. All right, one other thing is you've obviously got the status LEDs here. So I've been able to program these as well, so I know how these work. So if I press this normally open contact again, let's give you a zoom out. So it will turn on the light, run the motor, and then it will turn on LED 1 and 4, and then after a few seconds turn those off, or turn on 2 and 3 and then turn those off. And so you can see the LEDs are on there, and then the other two turn on, and those turn off. And you can see that the ladder, it's not executing the same way it does in the Siemens PLC. And I know there are nuances to ladder, which is why a lot of people just prefer structured text, because generally they all just run the same. But this one, like that, I've let go of the input now. That should, okay, no, I think I've got it on a T off for 1 second, so that's correct. But then I've said, if LED 2 is on, turn off 1 and 4. So I think it might have even something to do with my cycle time, like if I've got a slow or fast cycle time or not, or background cycle time. So we'll explore, I'll show you the software now, and let's explore some of the capabilities. I mean, the fact that the software's got a nice oscilloscope, which is just like traces on the Siemens PLC, so I can see this analog input, is just pretty cool. So anyways, yeah, let's jump into that, and I'll show you my program. All right, so we're back over here on my computer now. Now, if I click up here, there's a little connects to target. As long as I'm plugged in via USB-C, I can connect. And so if you can't, you got to like come down here and select a port and click download. And it's still a bit finicky. And I never really know, like, when I connect, if my code is up to date or not. So then occasionally I'll click download to PLC, and then it will let me download. I have discovered some cool things about the ID. When you first start using it, it's all a bit weird and it all looks a bit like this actually. And so as you come to view and you go tool windows and you go, okay, well, I want the oscilloscope. Let's open up the oscilloscope. It just kind of, the whole thing becomes very clunky. But I don't really get this. They have this auto hide that you could on each window, and then you can't auto hide this window. So this is your main window with all your code on it, but you got tabs down here, which it took me forever to notice. So if I go over to my code, this is the tab for my code now. And then these ones, clicking on these pins is actually a very good thing. I thought it pinned it there, but instead what it does is it chucks it on this toolbar here. And that should be by default. Like now I can come through here and cycle through as you would normally anything else. So yeah, I mean, this is brilliant. So this is my code. Let me show you just kind of how you get around a bit. So you've got resources and projects. So you want these tabs on the bottom here. Resources and project are your like main 2 tabs that you want to go on. And then down here, you've got resources again, main, and then you open some stuff. I don't quite know how to actually close this tab, or like the tabs you open. I don't know how to close them yet, so I'm getting there. I'm still figuring things out. So let's start with, normally you'll be on, I think, resources like this. So you have this sort of window here where you've got you're essentially on resources and on the Opta. When you get that, you kind of like flick through here and you're like, what do all these mean? I still don't know what they mean, but you got like Ethernet, serial port. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. If I click on sketch though, you then get this configure static IP address, and that's where you can set your IP address. So instead of changing the IP address of the Arduino in your router settings like I did initially, you can do it here and then download. So sketch, I guess, is a bit like the old Arduino C++ void setup, void loop sort of thing. So local IO mapping is the only thing I use here. So I've got programmable inputs, relay outputs, LED outputs, button inputs, and then you define each one. So I've chosen these names. So DI1, so I can put digital input 1 if I want. Okay, it failed. Error creating a new automatic, I guess, because instead of it to just say that spaces are not allowed, it just says error, which is, yeah, sure. So digital input 1, and I believe if I go to my code, does that change? It did not change. But if I click on this normally open contact and go to select the variable, then yeah, digital input 1 is there. So that's cool. All right, so let's change that back to DI1. Now that shouldn't exist, and that should give me an error, but it just doesn't. So if I come back to my programmable inputs there and change that to DI1. So what I've done is I've called my variables DI1, DI2, DI3, DI4. So they're digital, and it's pretty amazing. You define them as digital here. And then I've done AI for analog input 5, 6, 7, and 8, and you define them as analog inputs. Now what I find crazy is, and it's just, honestly, you know, Arduino have done a good job here. And this whole UI is clunky and it's weird, but I'm getting there. I'm getting the hang of it, and it's like I'm starting to enjoy it. So you got analog resolution here. Don't tell me what assigned and unassigned means. Or don't ask. I don't know. But you got analog resolution. Now, unfortunately, you can't select the resolution that you want for each individual IO, but it will do all of them. So you can define and say, I want all 4 of these analog inputs to be 16 bits, 14 bits, or 12 bits, and that's just cool. Like, that is bloody cool. I love that. Anyways, all right, so let's leave it at 16 bits. Relay outputs, I've defined them as output 1, output 2, output 3, output 4. It does give you the addresses, which I guess is helpful if you wanted to reference them in code, like as in like structured text or whatever, without using their variable name. And then so LED outputs, this is a bit weird, but I thought these were Modbus ones, so there's like some LEDs above the Modbus port or under the Modbus port. I thought it was these, but it turns out, or at least for me at least, this blue LED is just the one above the user button, and then the green or red is the one next to the user button, which is like a bit of a status LED. And then these 4 LEDs are the actual 4 status LEDs, the ones that you saw when I held down, it turned on 2 and then the other 2. And then the user button is just so button inputs. You got 4 categories of local IO mapping, which it's very smooth. Honestly, I had no problem setting all this up. So then you come down to project, and then now you can access your main program file. So this is your main OB, your main operating block, or whatever you want to call it. I guess you can add more. So add new function block, and then I can define what language I want it in. So I can do ST. Oh, invalid name, and then just put ST test, and now I got some structured text, which again I have no idea how to start writing, but I do have some idea. You can come over to library tree, standard, and like timers, for example, and then T off, and I can drag that on there, and it's just got T off. Yeah, I don't know how to write structured text off the top of my head, so I'm not gonna bother. So back to my main. Let's delete that structured text. Oh, maybe I'll try. Okay, do you know what? Nah, I was gonna ask ChatGPT, just write this out for me in structured text, but let's not bother. So we'll delete that. Delete. So this is my main OB now. So I now actually want to like minimize this. I'm not sure I can. Symbols browser. If I pin it, what does it do? Oh, it just goes down to the bottom. So like yeah, Arduino, they got it wrong here. The default window should be like this. Like that now looks usable. But when it's all popped up on your screen, you just can't see what's going on. So I've got two networks here. Network 001, which I can give a label, which is nice. Network 1. Oh, I can disable it. That's cool. Invalid name again, because I guess it doesn't like spaces. Oh, what's the problem then? Network. Oh, there's still a space. Network 1, and then some random name. So I can give them names, which is cool. So all I'm doing here is I'm just saying, if I get my digital input, then turn on output 1 and output 2, which is my relay outputs. And then I've had to put this coil here because without it, like that, what I expect is that these two LEDs stay on for 2 seconds, and then 2 seconds after, so they turn off, and 2 seconds after I let go of this, is that right? So no, okay, I press down the switch, digital input 1, and then these will stay on. Yeah, my code is wrong here. This is right. This actually worked. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You get there in the end, right? Sometimes it's just like, I wrote this code 8 hours ago. I've gone out, come back, and now I'm looking at it and go, yeah, actually, no, it was right. So, and then, yeah, so then 2 seconds later, these two turn on. And then I just added this because I was like, I don't want them both on at the same time. So this should have turned off, but I guess, yeah, it didn't. That's fine. It doesn't matter. All right, and then I've just gone, if you press the user button, then another T on timer. And the reason I've just used a bunch of T on and T offs is because I've gone to the library tree and I've gone, oh, I don't fancy doing any edge detection or set resets, counters. So there's a whole bunch of, there's a library tree called project libraries, and I've just gone to standard and I haven't bothered with any of the other ones. So I've gone timers. Oh, I know what a timer is. And then you just kind of, you can't really drag it on too well. So if I want to drag that on there, it just instance name, and let's just put Hamid. Oh, it worked. Okay, that worked. I tried that earlier and that didn't work. So back to my library tree, and I can do like a F trig. Cover that on there. Hamid, already in use. So it's a bit weird. Yeah, that's not weird actually. I was going to say it should delete my instance, but so I guess I got like local variables just like tier portal here. So can I delete these? You can. Beautiful. But you know, like even as I'm talking you through this, the UI is making more sense to me as I go on, which is nice. So operators and blocks, target blocks, operator blocks, arithmetic. Oh, nice. ABS. Brilliant. Cosine, sine. Very nice. That's all. Ceiling. All the normal functions that I'm used to. Oh, a critical error occurred in the program. Why? Why? Oh man. And I must say, this has happened to me 20 times in the last 2 days. And I'm actually just down. Like I think I'm just frozen. Bloody hell. Alright, task manager. Oh, where am I trying to go? Here. End task. Come on. Okay. Back to the IDE. Not great, is it? Okay. So what's weird as well is that the project I'm working on never shows up here. Don't know why. Alright, first project 2. So there are some other cool features which I'll go into. So let's hit connect, see if this works. I'm connected, brilliant. And look, it hasn't remembered all my windows. Now I don't know if that's because it crashed or not, but that's annoying. So look, this looks horrible. So if I just pin everything again, which I hope there's like an option to save Windows settings or something like that. Pin that, pin that. Can I go to Windows? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so what I find incredible is you have a watch list. Let's see if I can find that again. I go to resources, nope. Project, nope. Domain. So what I was able to do is you can like right click here. Oh, that was it. Yeah, you can right click this and go add to watch, add to debug window. You can also right click anywhere and go to watch mode, and then hover over what you want to watch, click it, and then it will say, do you want to add this to your oscilloscope or to your watch? If I add it to my watch table, I've now got a watch table here. So nothing should happen when I press this digital input. So let's press it. So, it still shows it. Okay. I thought that it wouldn't. So you can see that as I'm pressing it, it's turning on and off, which is cool. I thought that I'd have to press this button to watch, but I guess this is stop. So now I've stopped that. Will it still show? No. Okay. Yeah. So I'm pressing it now and it's not showing. So you got like a decent watch table here that works. Just test that again. Yeah, so if I've added my D input, and I used this earlier to debug and it worked. So if I add output 1 to the watch table, output 2 to the watch table, LED 1, and let's add LED 2. So if I hold it down, they will turn on. Then eventually LED 2 turns on, LED 1 should turn off. Yep, perfect. Off again, same again. It's incredibly responsive as well, which is exactly what you want, right? Now again, you have to be plugged in via USB-C, which sucks because, you know, normally if I'm in a big building, I might be 200 meters away from my PLC, and I don't want to be plugged in, sitting in the pump room or sitting in the LV room, plugged into it directly with a USB-C cable. I want to be, you know, far away and talking over the Ethernet, or remote in using VPN. So it's not great. You still need the USB-C. But let's add them now to the oscilloscope. So if I click it again and do oscilloscope instead, and then I add output 1, oscilloscope, and let's add LED 1, oscilloscope, and LED 2, oscilloscope. I haven't used a debug window yet, but let's see if this works. So if I press it, there we go. It's cool. And then you can see, so it's turned off. There you go. Look how cool that is. So LED 1's on. Like, that's just smooth. It just works, man. It really works. So, as you know, I am putting in an analog input. So let's grab that. I don't know how to do it. I think if I go insert new item, there you go, and then I can search maybe analog input 5, I think it is. Browse. Okay, I didn't have to search. So analog input 5, and if I click OK, and then it says, do you want to add to watch or oscilloscope? So let's add to watch first, and you can see there. So I'm pushing in using the function generator, a sine wave at 100 hertz, and I don't know what it's doing. It's like flicking 21,000. Is my oscilloscope, my function generator actually doing anything? No, it's not. So if I hit run now, there we go. So I'm at, oh no, it's gone to 0. That's stopped. Oh no, it's not. It's going. Okay, cool. So 51,000 counts back down to 0, and then here, because it's interesting, it sat at 0 for a while. I expect it to be going negative, but I guess the analog input can only read 0 to 10 volts, not plus minus 10 volts, which is okay. So you can see there, I can see the value of the analog input fluctuating there. And then if I do the same now, okay, I can't add it there, but can I click here? No. Okay, so to get off this as well, I couldn't get off it by pressing anything. So you have to right click and go back to insert mode to get off the watch mode. So if I come back to here, insert new item, and then if I put analog 5, would that just work? Okay, yep, and then add it to the, oh dear. Okay. AI 5, and then I want to add it to the oscilloscope. Yep. All right, so I think that's my analog input signal, but I can't see it. So let's zoom out. So you got horizontal zoom and you got vertical zoom. So if I zoom out there, you can see, I think it's currently at, I'm at 10,000 counts, so I still can't see it. 25, 50, 100,000 counts, 250,000 counts. I should be able to see it now. So it's currently at 40, 50,000, 45,000 going down. So I don't know why I can't see it. Let's go zoom out horizontally. Yeah, it's still just, I've zoomed out massively now and it's still not working. So if I press stop, start again, nothing. Not sure what I'm doing here. So let's maybe just close this and try again. So AI 5. Okay. Add to oscilloscope. Zoom in horizontally. Play. I kind of want like an auto zoom sort of feature. Show all values. Oh, there you go. Okay. So we have my sine wave, which without looks like it's got a DC offset. Hang on. I think I've added a DC offset, which kind of makes sense. Can I remove the DC offset? Oh, I've just unplugged the thing. All right. Turn it back on. Run. Sine wave. Go. And then turn off my DC offset. Is that off? Okay, so now it should be, I should just see half the duty cycle. Yeah. So I added a DC offset, which let me add that back in and you'll see. Wait, let's zoom out first. Zoom out that way. No, zoom out that way. Okay, so I added my DC offset, which if you're not an electronics person, you might not understand what these terms mean, which is okay. I've added that back in. What's happened? Oh, I got a start. Went to square wave. Okay, there we go. But anyways, I mean, look how cool this is. Like, this is just so cool that just works. So that's not really yeah, okay, it is a DC offset, yeah. So you can see there, now instead of a perfect 50% duty cycle, I've now got, you know, like a 80-something% duty cycle. Which, I wonder if there's tools to be able to display that on here. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. So, let's see if I change the waveform. Let's go stop, mode, and then if I go with a triangle wave, let's go with a sawtooth wave. Run. See what this does. Hey, there we go. We've got a sawtooth wave. Beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. I mean, look, you know, this is Arduino's first attempt. I think, I might be wrong. They do have that some Portenta device. But this is their first attempt at a PLC hardware offering. And then they've banged out software like this. Like, props to them. Props. Big, massive props. You know, I'm blown away. This is brilliant. And there are issues. There are a lot of issues. But I kind of think, you know, we should support them, you know. Yeah. Would you use this? I would not use this on any sort of customer critical. If I had a small project, I mean, I'm not in systems integration anymore. I'm working in research and development. But if I was working as a system integrator, then if I had a small job that I knew for sure, if I hit the wall with this Arduino, that I could just swap it out with a logo, then I would try to use the Arduino to make it work. And then if I couldn't, then I'd swap it out for the logo. And then, you know, my company or me, we lose, you know, 130 quid buying the Arduino and, you know, a week's worth of my time. But at least then we switch back to the logo and the customer's still happy. So I would give it a go if the risk is low. If the risk is high, hell no, I wouldn't touch this with a barge pole. Yeah, I think that's it for me. You know, I would like to program instructed text, but I haven't done it before. I haven't done it for a long time. And I just, you know, there's going to be nuances in the Arduino that maybe I'll do that in another video. Cool. All right. I think I've covered just about everything. Thanks for watching, guys. And I shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.